Carolina referral thing that I handed out.
It was on the, it was stapled up onto your pack.
Yeah, last had it up there.
I don't have it. Mike, do you have an extra one of those?
Oh, it's underneath my file. Very well. Good morning, everyone. My name is David Freed, District Attorney of Cumberland County. To my right, Chief Todd Bayshore, East Pennsboro Township Police Department. To my left, Lieutenant Mark Green. As you know, we're here today to talk about criminal charges that were filed on Friday, late Friday evening, against Steven R. Brungard of East Pennsboro Township. And I'll give you some background on the case, and then we'll be happy to take some questions. Based on the affidavit that was filed along with the search warrant that was executed in this case and the affidavit of probable cause attached to the complaint, you know that a referral was received by East Pennsboro regarding allegations of sexual abuse of a 10-year-old female. East Pennsboro started the investigation into this case, was able to develop information indicating that Steven Brungard was the suspect. We developed a probable cause for a search warrant, applied for and received permission from the Common Pleas Court to enter his residence with a body recorder to digitally tape whatever would take place there, and you understand the difference there. If we're doing just a consensual phone call, Attorney General, District Attorney can approve that. In order to go into somebody's house and record, there's a heightened level of scrutiny, and that level requires approval from a common pleas judge, which we obtained on Friday afternoon. And then late on Friday afternoon, two detectives from East Pennsboro Township knocked on Mr. Brungard's door. They were invited in, began to have a discussion with him, and pretty clearly it became evident right away that our probable cause was accurate, that he was the offender, and ultimately he gave a statement admitting to the majority of the acts that have been charged against him. He also indicated that he videotaped or digitally taped some of the sexual encounters between himself and the 10-year-old girl. The interesting thing, he was charged Friday. Bail was initially set at $3 million, and then in an effort, I think, to protect the community and other potential victims, bail was later changed to bail denied by the district judge. There were also specific bail conditions in the event that monetary bail would be set and made later on. Of course, no contact with the victim. Defendant can't have any contact or visitation with any child under 18 that's not supervised. He can't go anywhere where the 10-year-old victim might reside. Can't go in any public or private school where anyone under 18 might be present. Can not enter any means of public transportation where a child under the age of 17 may be present. Can't possess any device, electronic or otherwise, capable of capturing a photograph or video of any person under 18. May not travel outside the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and has to surrender any passport that he might have. So, based on all that, you might think that this is sort of, I don't want to say run-of-the-mill case, but unfortunately we have a lot of cases where young people are victimized by adults. But there are some different angles to this case. And the first one, which is a matter of public record, is that this suspect has a previous conviction for statutory rape or statutory sexual assault from 1980. So that's, what, 33 years ago? Prior conviction from within Pennsylvania, a few counties up the river. The second thing is the nature of the referral in this case. You know, we've heard a lot in the news lately about who's mandated to report about referrals and how referrals go. I know there's a lot of great work taking place in the legislature right now, trying to streamline that process, trying to make sure that we don't miss any potential harm to children within the Commonwealth. Well, what happened here was a referral was made, and the referral went to Cumberland County, but Cumberland County, North Carolina, which is the Fayetteville, North Carolina area. And I have a copy of that referral that you can see when we're finished here. And I have to tell you, it's not unusual. I mean, we get referrals from time to time for Cumberland County, North Carolina, or Cumberland County, New Jersey, and the authorities are pretty good about communicating those referrals. What happened in this case was the referral went to Cumberland County, North Carolina Children and Youth Services. That referral was then sent to Cumberland County. Cumberland County Children and Youth got in touch with East Penn, and the case progressed from there. The interesting angle about the referral in this case, however, is that the referral was made by the suspect. The suspect referred this case to authorities, indicating that he believed his victim was the victim of abuse. Of course, not abuse by him, abuse by somebody else. At the same time, the suspect made a similar referral to a local religious institution here. And I'm pleased to say that the referral process worked. Not to the extent that I think the suspect would have liked it to work, but it worked in the sense that the referral came from North Carolina here, and the local religious institution that received the referral also brought that referral to the East Pennsboro Township Police Department, and should be commended for that, for doing the right thing. So the referral came, and Children and Youth, the police, met with the victim and a parent, right, Mark? Yes, sir. And it became, and that's not unusual, because what we try to do with victims is to prevent serial encounters with authorities or law enforcement. So often we work together with Children and Youth Services to try to do as much of a one-stop shop as we possibly can. So in this case, the victim came in with a parent, and there were some police detectives in there, and a children and youth worker. She was understandably uncomfortable talking in front of the police detectives, who, being experienced detectives, noted that, stepped out of the room, and then she disclosed a little bit more to the children and youth worker, which led to us getting the warrant. And when you look at the affidavit of probable cause for the criminal charge, and then combine that with the affidavit of probable cause for the search warrant, which if you don't have, we can get you, or you can get it at Judge Doherty's office right behind us, what you see is a lengthy period of grooming. And grooming that doesn't just stop once the sexual acts begin, but grooming that goes from, I don't know how to say this diplomatically, from sort of less serious sexual acts to more serious sexual acts, or at least in terms of the law, the way that we grade these offenses, less serious offenses to more serious offenses. And the grooming involved having the child into the house to do some chores, paying the child for chores, and then this defendant would purchase clothing that the child wanted. He would give her these outfits if she would do these certain things for him. That progressed to paying her for sexual acts, and that's the genesis of the prostitution and promoting prostitution charges here. So what we have is serious charges of sexual assault against a minor, prostitution charges. We also have child pornography charges because of the memorialization of the acts that was done by this defendant. This investigation is ongoing. It's very clear to us at this stage of the investigation that this defendant is familiar with the use of online resources. We know that he used Craigslist. We've handed out an ad that he had on Craigslist. We know that he used Facebook. We know that he encouraged the use of Facebook by the victim, in this case, notwithstanding her tender age. And we know that he at least created certain videos of his offenses, and that we've seen. So that's not based on what he told us. We've seen those. So the open questions are, were those videos disseminated? Were more made? Are there more victims? Were those videos disseminated? And that's what we'll continue to look into as this case goes along. And you're all experienced in this business. You know that often we will wait and build up a case as much as we possibly can prior to making an arrest, and that was some of the discussion that we had on Friday afternoon. Based on what we had, we knew that we had probable cause for a warrant, certainly had probable cause to arrest, but the key to us is, if we're going to make an arrest, then we have to be ready to do a preliminary hearing within 3 to 10 days. And when you have a young lady who's just disclosed this for the first time, the question is she able to testify? Do we want to put her through that? So our discussion on Friday afternoon prior to going down the alley to execute this warrant, and the place that we're talking about is mere blocks from where we're standing today, we were just hoping that we could get one thing that would allow us to make an arrest, one thing beyond what we had in the warrant. Well, we got plenty of evidence, we believe, that supports these charges. So that's the sum of it. I'd be happy to answer any questions or have the chief answer questions anybody has.
How did he know the victims, do you know?
I think he had been living in the neighborhood, the suspect, for quite a while, and she was just a child living in the neighborhood, and his house was, he wanted it to be a place where children could gather. There were, when we went in with the search warrant, there were children's toys, plush toys, boxes and boxes of candy. He would have children we know in to help take care of his pets, and it was that sort of relationship.
What prompted him to make the referral either to North Carolina or...
Yeah, I can only speculate on that, and I probably shouldn't, but based on the nature of this case, I will. And my belief, and I think our belief, our collective belief in law enforcement, is that contact had either been cut off or curtailed between he and the victim, and I think that based on what he was doing, he sensed that that could mean that he might be discovered, and I think the referrals, it appears to me, based on our investigation, that referrals were an attempt to ultimately create a defense.
Did he specifically identify someone else when
Yes.
he made his referral?
Yes.
Did that person have to go through interviews and everything?
Without getting too far into detail, the referral was based on sexual acts between children that he alleged had been captured on video in his house. It's interesting that the videos between he and the victim were there in his house, but the videos purportedly between her and another child were not.
What about his wife?
There's some indication of knowledge on her part. At least there's an allegation of that. We don't have evidence of that at this point, so I think that's another one of the open questions. In a case like this, or in any theft, or almost any case you can think of, where there's a married couple, you often wonder, is there any culpability in the spouse? We don't have evidence of that at this point, but it's certainly something we're going to look into.
And the girl's parents, were they onto this at all? Did they have any suspicion?
I don't know the answer to that. Certainly they were cooperative and helpful when children and youth sought to discuss this.
And just talk about Brungard. Is it Brungard? Is that how you say it?
As far as I know.
Yeah. I mean, the crime that, it's so deceitful, and he's changed this girl's life forever.
It's you know, we don't have a press conference for every charge of involuntary deviant sexual intercourse, and I think you could argue that we should. I was speaking to the Civic Club in Carlisle last week, and one of the questions I got was how much child sexual abuse is really out there. My answer was a lot. And you know, we know it's in the news because of the Sandusky case, but you know, this happens all the time. I remember when I was looking at it. I don't have our numbers for 2012, but in 2011 in Cumberland County, we had 17 charges of involuntary deviant sexual intercourse involving young children. So that's in excess of one per month. And those are the ones that are reported. So what we've got here is, thankfully, what we believe is a substantial quantum of evidence that will help us in this case, and then you know, we'll focus on the criminal case. And you know, we're going to let the counselors and family and authority try to change this young lady's life back to where it should be. Go ahead.
Quick question. You, as of either late Friday or early Saturday, East Pennsboro and Cumberland County Emergency Services have asked other victims to come forward, or other people with knowledge. Have any come forward to this
I don't believe we received any additional information at this point. I won't say whether we expect to or don't expect to. I will say this, and I can say it for cases that the men standing in this room have worked with me. It happens often, and it wouldn't surprise me if it happened in this case.
Can you just speak to his demeanor? Did he?
I can't. Can you, Chief?
He confessed. Did he seem like he thought he did anything wrong?
After speaking with my detectives, when they brought Mr. Brungard back to the office to speak with him while we were executing the search warrant, and Detective Cotton texted me down at the scene and said he's bleeding out. I mean, he just was 100% cooperative. I believe, speaking with them, he wanted to get all this off his chest, and he was 100% cooperative with us. There were some items in the search warrant that immediately we didn't find. He told us exactly where the stuff was when we asked for it, so he was totally cooperative with us.
Were
Sorry, go ahead.
other videos found? I mean, if you have one, there's usually more.
I think it's too soon to say.
Yeah, we have a lot of evidence at this point that we have to forensically look at. I mean, we looked at a small piece of evidence that we found that night that corroborated everything. But as far as everything else, it'll be a while till we get through all the computers. So
There are multiple?
there was there was multiple computers in the house.
But the only videos that you've seen so far with him and the 10-year-old?
Yes.
All right, I want to reiterate what I think was in the press release that, and you probably get tired of me saying it, but I say it all the time because I'm proud of it, that this is again another joint effort with East Penn, my office, Upper Allen Township, who helped us greatly with the permission of Chief James Adams with one of their computer forensic guys, and when we came here to do the search warrant, we had help from Immigration or Homeland Security and the United States Postal Inspector. So we had help from our friends in the federal building as well. And everybody recognized the import of this case, and there was never a question when we reached out for help that the help would be there. So I just want to reiterate that. Thanks.
Thank you.